Hello and welcome to the channel. No, it is not a car chronicles, but I am in a car. I am on my way home, just left physical therapy, and I'm going to go and harvest some greens for Thanksgiving. So if you'd like to see what my greens look like in the garden before I harvest them and watch me harvest, stay tuned. I made it home and I am in the garden. This is my mustard green pot. I always start with a bucket as well as my collecting bowl and some shears in the event. This is my collard green pot. As you can see, I've got lots of collards, so I'll be harvesting a lot of that. This is my turnip green pot. Not looking as good, and I can see I've got a leaf cutter bug right there, so I'll be taking that off. But as you can see, I do have a little bit of turnip green, so I'll be harvesting that. I might even grab some of the Malabar spinach and put that in there just for good measure. But certainly not least, I have some Swiss chard, and I'll be adding that as well, just to spice it up. And if that's not enough greens to go around, longevity spinach up under here, a lot of longevity spinach, and I could also add a little bit of that in there as well. So let's get to picking. I don't have a lot of daylight hours left, so I really do need to make this quick. I will try to take you along for the vast majority of it, but you may not see everything. And I do need to clean this up as I go. So I'm just going to take these leaves out that are no good as I'm going. This is my mustard green pot. And so I have some bad leaves down in here. We've had a lot of wind and some chill, and so not everything has survived it. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking at the base of the plant, and I am pulling from the base of the plant, trying to make sure that I leave the center, because I want to use this as a cut and come again. I don't want to take the entire plant out, so I'm pulling leaves as I go. And what I do is when I pull leaves, before I take them in the house, I double check to make sure that there isn't any pest on my leaves. And then I do what I would normally do inside the house. I begin to pull off the leaves, destem them. I do believe that's what that's called. I destem them and I get them in the bowl. And then this goes in the bucket and this goes into the compost bin. That's why I bring a bucket out with me. I don't know if you all can see the bucket because it's over there behind me somewhat. And oh, I love the way these smell. Oh my goodness. If you've never eaten mustards, I know a lot of people don't like mustard, but I grew up eating a mixed green. And this has a little bit of leaf miner, so we don't want to take that in the house. That's why I look at the leaves while I am taking my greens. I want to make sure that I'm not taking anything in the house that I don't want. And I should have brought a sweater because these mosquitoes are out here to cover up my arms. I was hurrying up and rushing. So I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to get a sweater and I'll be right back. Now that I have my arms protected, I will get back to the business at hand. And so what I do is, this is what you normally do in the kitchen. You destem your greens. I do all of this outside before I bring my greens in the house. That way, that's one less step I have to do. And I think that's one of the beauties of growing your own, is that you can do this in the garden. And everything that goes to the compost bin is already here to go into the compost bin. And in the bucket it goes. So I'm going to put you guys on speed up and I will hurry up and get this cleaned up and in the bowl. I didn't harvest all of my mustards, but I did harvest some of them, and I do need to harvest the beans, but I'm not out here for the beans right now. I need to get these greens in the pot. And so if you find that you have a little bit of aphid, go ahead and just spray it off with a water hose. I did find there was a tiny bit of aphid, but what I was saying earlier was a lot of people don't like mustard. I grew up eating mixed greens, so my mom put in the pot collard, mustard, turnip, and spinach. So that's what I mix my greens, because that's how I grew up eating them, and I find they're very tasty that way. This This is Swiss chard, I do believe. Because I don't see that this is a sugar beet, so this has got to be Swiss chard. Sugar beet and Swiss chard looks very much alike. So these are some really big, beautiful leaves. I hope you all can see that. Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to be putting these in the pot as well. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And again, I just do the same thing I do with my other leafy greens, my greens. I de-stem it, put the stem in the bucket, put the green in the pot. And I'm going to do that until I've taken it down enough to where it is, it can regenerate and I can have some more later on. I'm just taking enough for our meal. And if I have more than enough, I'll be canning the remainder because I don't want to have a bunch of greens in the refrigerator. You know how you have food left over for days? I will can anything that seems to be excess. And that way, I've got greens for the family and I've got greens for later. And this way, when I do the cut and come again, the plant will continue to grow and I'll be able to come back out and get more later. So yes, this is Swiss chard. This is another way you can eat your Swiss chard. I know some people may go, wow, never thought to do that. But because I grew up eating mixed greens, I always look at mixing them in order to have a beautiful meal. I otherwise wouldn't eat Swiss chard. I have to mix it. Swiss chard has a very unique taste, and if you're not used to it, it can be a bit sharp. And this way, I'm cleaning up the plant. And as you can see, I hope you all can see, it's making more room for more space where I can put something else. And that way, if I have another plant that I can pop in, I'll just pop it in. I'm just going to take a few more leaves off of this, and then I'm off to the turnip pot. As you can see, I have cleaned up my Swiss chard nicely, and I do know that this is indeed Swiss chard. I also have some Swiss chard or some ruby red growing in the pot next to it. So now this will be all cleaned up and it'll continue to grow. I have very little pest pressure on it. It looks really good. So let me hurry up and get to the turnip pot. This is my turnip pot, and I'm just going to take a few leaves out of here. Not many. They look pretty good. I do have a little bit of pest pressure. I saw that. I've got a little aphid, and I saw that leaf cutter bug, the little green bug. So I'm going to rinse this off because this is an aphid on here. And I don't want to take that and put it in my bowl. This one looks good. No bugs on it. Very little pest pressure. So this is going to go into the, well, I've got a tiny bit of aphid. So I'm going to rinse these off and I'll be right back. Now, this way, the way I harvest it makes it so much easier for me because it's less cleanup in the house. And I have to apologize. My neighbors just put their dog out. And so it's over there fussing. It's really fussing. It's either annoyed or it wants to go back in the house. Either way, you all are going to hear that noise. And I apologize. So I do my cleanup outside. I don't think I've ever seen anyone who are harvesting their greens, besides maybe one other person. They do their cleanup as well outside. And I'm avoiding taking the center because, again, this is a turnip. So I'm leaving the center. I've got some, I'm going to have to spray all of these leaves because they have just a tiny bit of aphid on here. Not a lot, but a little bit. So I'm going to take a couple of these leaves. Then I'm going to go back over to the hose. And then I will just rinse all these off. And I don't have a lot, so this is what I'm going to take for here. I've collected all of the turnip greens that I want to collect. And so now I'm moving on to the collard greens. And again, I'm taking from the bottom. You take from the bottom and you work your way up. And if you see any bugs on them, go ahead and rinse them off. That's what I do before I take them in the house. I don't take anything in the house. So I've rinsed it off first. No dirt, no bugs. Try to get rid of all of that. And so I'll be rinsing these off. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna take them now and rinse them in all in one whop because I'm losing light and these mosquitoes are starting to bug me. So I have got to get going. But this is how I harvest. And I hope you all can see and that my head is not in the way. But this is how I harvest my collards, my mustard, and my turnips and get them ready to go in the pot. And I showed you all last year, and if I can remember, I will add that video. But I showed you me canning some greens last year. So I'm not going to show you me doing that this year. And I've got a couple varieties of greens here. I don't know if you can see this or not, but this stalk is purple and this one is white. This one looks more like it has more blue in it, and this is like a stark greenish white. And I, to be honest with you, don't know the variety. I think I know, but I'm not certain because these were gifted seeds to me. And so they are delicious and they are beautiful to look at. So I am just going to keep plucking these and get them rinsed off. And if anything looks too holy that I don't want to fool with, or that I'm going to also take off all the dead debris, put it in the bucket, and it's going to go into the compost bin. I'm going to clean the plant up as I go. This is how I like to harvest my plants. Get them cleaned up as I go. That way the next time I am harvesting, I don't have the worry of it. So that's all I'm showing you all tonight. I hope you all enjoyed this quick video. I am just preparing greens for Thanksgiving and getting them canned up on the shelf. So that's one plant right here that I have harvested. And I'm going to leave it just like that. I've got that other big baby back over there to do. So I want to say, and I'm not going to take care of the babies down there. I'm going to leave those babies. Those are brand new that I put in the garden a couple months ago. So I'm going to leave those and let those grow. I will also use those for canning at a later time, just like the Mizuna I left on the other side. But I want to thank you all for joining me in the garden today. I hope you enjoyed this quick harvest video. I know it may have been rushed. I do apologize. I am losing light and I want to get this done because I will be in the kitchen tonight for quite some time. And you all know when you're preparing for Thanksgiving, sometimes it takes you a while. It takes days sometimes. And so that's what I'm up to, getting greens for my family. Well, all right, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate everyone who watched my video, comments, subscribes, and comes back every time I leave a video or post a video. I greatly appreciate you all. I really do. So until the next video, happy holidays, everybody. And I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.